Hey, what's up, people? It is your boy Don Juan, and guess what? You are back for another Unapologetically review. If you have just tuned into this channel, I am Don Juan, and I am here to talk to you about things unapologetically my way. So this is my video for season 14 reunion part 2 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I want to make sure if you are just coming here for the first time, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you have been here, thank you so much, y'all. Thank you so much for coming over to my channel. My first Real Housewives video, I feel like did really great, y'all. And I want to say thank you. I do not take that for granted. I love your commentary. I try to reply back. And I want to just kind of keep this going. So for today, I'm going to go into reunion part 2. We're going to talk about that. And I'm going to give you my insight unapologetically. So let's go. So the reunion part 2 comes in, and I'm going to say this, and this is probably unpopular opinion. You're probably not going to like this. This reunion feels very Marlo heavy and very, how do I say this? Dark. We give Marlo, obviously Marlo is at the front seat, so people feel like, you know, she's at the front seat and Sherea's at the front seat, so they must have had the most. And don't get me wrong, Marlo has given you some big points during the season. So if that's what they feel she should have been at the front seat, she's at the front seat. Not opposed to that. I do feel like, just like I said in my previous video, that we are definitely trying to fix an image, or we've looked online and seen what people said, and we're like trying to make sure that Marlo does not look bad, because we continue on. Marlo, you know, goes into the tears and talks about these women and they don't know any guy. We continue on with watching this, and I want it to be over. Like the Keisha Cole, so I just want it to be over. That's how I felt. Like the ladies are sitting there like, Kenya is totally not there for it. Candy and them like, girl, you know, what are we talking about? And I love Sonya, but Sonya, you know, that's not the friend that I know. And everybody like when you become Captain Sava, like, what are you talking about, girl? We cannot negate some of the stuff that's happened. This isn't a bash Marlo. This is just what I'm saying. We're watching this and we see them give her all this time to kind of win us over and tell us her story, and everything goes back to her childhood trauma. Trauma is real. The way she acts, the way we are as people, all of those things are real. That happens with life. But everything can't negate back to that. We cannot forget a few things. We cannot forget that girl has told Kenya, that's why your mama didn't want you. We cannot forget that girl has told Kenya, she faking being pregnant. We cannot forget that girl, as soon as something comes up, that's why Mark didn't even want you. We cannot forget that the girl has said to Candy, you want to emasculate your husband and your mama always talking to him like that? You be a sugar mama. Oh, guess what? You sitting there and you was a hoe. You was everybody that messed around with you. Ooh, Kenya, you was a video hoe. We cannot negate that those things were said. Just because you have trauma, that does not negate that what you said was wrong. So it's some accountability for that. I feel like this was a very rehearsed accountability. And Andy, even though I watched something else later where on Watch What Happens, he said, well, I was, asking the questions. I felt like it was very heavy, and it allowed her so much to continue to tell this story that the ladies were doomed, right? Anybody that was sitting there, be it Candy or Kenya or anyone else, was doomed if they had an opposing opinion. If Marlo would have said all of her trauma and things, and then any one of those ladies would have been like, girl, shut the hell up. You just saying this for blah, 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 blah. Y'all would have roasted them. I don't care what nobody say. You can tell me below in the comments if you think I'm lying. Y'all would have roasted those people. Y'all would have said, oh my God, she has went through a lot. And guess what? You are cold-hearted, Candy. You are cold-hearted, Drew. You are cold-hearted. Sure, if it could have been any of the ladies, nobody was going to be able to come back from that. And so I feel like even the producers, by allowing this to go for so long, you set the reunion up to be like, she most of the drama, but I can't even say nothing because y'all didn't let her have this pity party. Y'all don't do that to everybody. Like, you have to understand. I'm going to take it from a standpoint of me. I've been on reality TV shows before, blah, blah, blah. Some of y'all hated me. Some of you still hate me. You just watching it because you may like the review. You people had they didn't like that I had an opinion and I was a guy. They didn't like that I had an opinion and I worked for someone that was on the show. Now, mind you, I was on the show, but I'm grown. Like, I'm not a slave. I'm not an indentured servant. I'm not any of the above. I happen to be friends, but we have a working relationship and I know most of the ladies. People, even if I'm telling truths, people had set up the pity party and they were mad when I said things. You may be mad with me saying it right now, but you have to think about it. If you throw it into this same instance, if any one of those ladies said things, y'all were going to roast them. They were going to be, why are they doing that? They cold. Oh, they should have stayed. That don't even make sense. Why you chiming in, Kenya? She talking to Candy. Oh, why you chiming in, Drew? Any of the ladies could not have said that. I'm going to be honest. They could not have said anything without just looking bad. So I felt like, Andy, like, if you going to host. Like, it was points where, they like, oh, later on, they called the assistant and he like, okay, that's enough. He ready to go past that. He ready to go past some stuff when they in the moment and they going back and forth. He's, okay, let's move on. But we're giving all of that a lot of play. I'm not going to lie. I felt like, what is going on? I felt like Drew and even Sonya, it was like okay, go past it. When there was some real issues, that was some stuff they were talking about. We could have kept, there was some more to still unpack there and we didn't unpack it. I think that they had some real things to unpack. I think with Sheree, we didn't really hold her to the fire. Like, sweetheart, you was right there. You saw you look back at that footage. You saw that such said whatever. And you agree, like, are we going to hold anybody to the fire? How we on the second part of the reunion, unless it's coming on the third, I still don't know who said who sucked D in the locker room. That KB sucked D in the locker room. I don't know. It's a reunion. I feel like I'm supposed to know by now. I feel like I need to know who said that. I feel like if I'm watching it back, I need to know about this. Drew and, Sheree from Doggy Bones. How you feel when she went there and was trying to get up in your face, Sheree? How you feel when she like, I need to know the answers. We're reuniting so we can rehash and we can hopefully get past. But I feel like it was kind of stifled and it was just very like heavy. Like Kenya wanted to say something. I could see it in her face, but she knew she couldn't. Like, she said a few things like, no, I'm not moved by this story. And then I felt like at one point Marlo did what other people have done. And you know how people give that's what in the past, that used to be a thing and it was comedic and it was funny when other housewives from the past would say stuff. They would be like, if you don't like it, you don't like it. It was very snarky and sarcastic. Hers was just, oh, I'm not going to be the same because she won't be my friend. And it was very, very, I don't know, y'all. It threw me off. I didn't feel like the answers I was supposed to get. Like, you're calling the assistant. I want to hear this. Why we cut him off when he said Drew was trying to get a storyline or whatever? Like, what really was going on? Sheree, do you not be paying people? Well, there's other people that say you don't pay people. Can we kind of pull that out? Can we get to the real of it? Okay, Candy, this is what was happening. Can we talk about, you talked about you've helped Marlo. Anything, how have you helped these other people? You don't feel like XYZ with your mama and your husband, and let's talk about the, the wheel and where that went, blah, 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 and how you're watching this conversation back, and maybe we're going to talk about it on part 3. I don't know. Like, Sonya, like, I just feel like it was a lot more in this reunion that could have been rehashed. And I feel like these women were set up, like, not set up, but it was produced in a way that wasn't conducive to what we were used to. I've seen other Housewives reunion, like, and just from not Real Housewives of Atlanta, but other reunions such as Dubai, other reunions such as, and I'm like, okay, Andy is holding a fire to your behind. Andy is like, no, that don't make sense. Oh no, so explain that to me. This time I didn't feel that way. And I hate to say it because, I like Andy. I just didn't feel, I felt like we lost some of what we love about the Atlanta reunion because it was very much centered the way that it was. I I think Kenya should have been able to say her piece. And her and Marlo, we know what they is like. We got a piece of it, but I feel like she should have been able to say more of her piece and how she felt about the things, and they were able to really hash that out. I felt like when Sheree, from the previous episode, when Marlo and Candy started talking, Sheree stopped them, and we weren't like, no, we're not finished with that. Like, nobody really produced it and like was like, okay, no, you're here to talk about these issues. Maybe part 3 will give me some clarity on some more of the items, because right now I don't have clarity on some of the stuff. I really don't have clarity. So we get to the end, and we're talking about the assistant, and I guess they call the assistant. So that part is good. Martell calls during that time, and it's more centered around, oh my gosh, Martell called, and whatever that is. I don't believe that this was an accountability reunion. I don't. I hate to say it. I think we scratched the surface, and I don't know if everybody was tired. I think we scratched the surface of it, and it could have went a lot deeper. Like, hell, ask me to, y'all hate me, but let me host a reunion or something. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying, like, you have to be willing to ask those questions. You have to be willing to be like, okay, y'all having y'all little moment, got you. And I'm going to do a follow-up question. Like, some of the questions were shady that people were asking, and, but I don't know that the ladies were allowed to give what they were supposed to give based off of what they was presented with. And that's just my opinion. I think part 2 could have definitely been a lot more spicier if they would have allowed some of the stuff to kind of play out a little bit more. I definitely think Drew and Sonya had way more to talk about, and it didn't happen. I definitely think Marlo and Candy had way more to talk about, and it never happened. I think Kenya and Marlo started. I think Sheree and Candy have way more to talk about. I think Drew and Sheree definitely have more to talk about, but I feel like we're getting very surface, and I don't know. I don't know about the surface level answering for this reunion setup. I feel like the birds are chirping. We got the birds are chirping, and Marlo is talking, and then Drew will step in and over talk at points, and that's about it. Like, everybody else kind of is at this, like, I can't say anything moment. And I ain't gonna lie, y'all, it kind of aggravated me when I was watching it. And I was watching it hoping for in part 2 that some of the answers that I was expecting was gonna come. I would have even, I would have even wanted some, Andy at one point was like, we're not gonna do this like the driveway for 2 hours. And it'd be like, maybe they needed to, because that was entertaining. We knew what was happening. I'm glad that we did talk about Ross and how, Kenya was like, no, he's never talked to women like that. So I'm glad we cleared that part up. When they start talking about the things with Drew's husband, hopefully when the husband comes out, we talk about that more, because I think they need to clear that part up. And, her and Sheree, I think that needs to be discussed, because it's a lot of things that haven't happened there. They do a lot of light, fun things. We got to see the worldwide stuff, but I think even with Sheree, it's this triumphant return. So they, I guess, didn't want to make her look bad. So the ladies didn't really talk about or go into the things with her either. I'm hoping part 3 wraps it up for me, and it's like, oh, okay, this part was held here, and I'm going to get some more of those answers. Let me know what you guys think, because maybe I'm just overanalyzing, but I don't know. It just felt that way for me. Like, it felt like, damn, why did we start? This was a good season. Why, let these girls do it? Because Dubai and all them, they okay, I'm saying it. I just feel like they weren't able to do that because of how we allowed this to play out. If we come back into part 3, y'all, and we are still talking about this trauma, I'm sorry. Roast me if you want. I'm going to tell you that ain't it. Okay? We can't do this for 3 parts. Thank you guys so much for watching my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, subscribing. I am so appreciative again. Please share this video with your friends. Please like this video. Please come back. And if you're not liking what I'm saying, drop the comments below. I'm reading the comments. I want to hear what you're saying. I want to see, maybe I don't get the perspective. I'm not always right, and I'm not claiming to be the voice of all reason. I'm just giving my opinion here unapologetically. So if you don't like it, then so what? It's unapologetically. But thank you guys so much for tuning in.